So for this look, I kind of wanted to do a more natural glam, if that makes sense. It's just a nice, glowy, bronzy look. No lashes or anything, just something really easy. This to me is something where like I would wear this to class or to work or something, especially if I felt like I didn't have too much time. I mean, I did this in like 20 minutes, so it's not nothing, but it also doesn't take too much time if you're trying to get ready in the morning, just to kind of look more alive. This is also something that wears beautifully throughout the day. You can also pop on lashes. I didn't. I think it just kind of adds to the quickness to just put on a coat of mascara, maybe curl your lashes and go. But if you do have the time, or if you're really quick with false lashes, you can add those on by all means, or like a cat eye if you're really cat eye, or like a eyeliner if you're really fast at it. So it's not like a 5-minute out the door, what's gonna make me not look dead kind of makeup, but it is something that's fairly quick, something you can do before class, before work, you know, early in the morning when you're half asleep still, like the coffee hasn't kicked in or anything. This is the look that I typically go for. And there are some things that I did today that I don't necessarily do every day, like putting on lip liner and lipstick. Sometimes I do just throw on a gloss or a lip balm and call it a day. I also use separate highlighters on my face, but you can just use this Carly Bible palette for the entire look. This is why this is one of my favorite palettes to travel with, because I don't feel like I have to bring any like separate highlights or anything like that, because they're all in here. I'm just sitting at my house today and I have those other ones, so I use them. But if you really wanted one palette for this whole look, you could do this. And it's from BH Cosmetics, so the price is right. I think that's all I have to say for today, other than subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, just tag me in stuff that you want to see, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the NYX Honey Do Me Up, and I just rub this in all over my face. It's kind of like a primer, it has some glycerin in it, but it's really just gonna make your skin extra dewy. Now I'm going to put on some Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 10. I really like this. I do put on a separate concealer later, but I really like this to kind of initially cancel out the dark circles and things like that around my eyes. And bam! My foundation's done. I have no idea where that clip went, but it is completely gone. I did use the Wet n Wild Full Coverage Cream Foundation, and now I'm using the Age Rewind by Maybelline. I will have everything listed in the bottom bar below as well if you have any questions about what exactly I'm using. So I'm just going to put this in kind of my highlighting areas, in between my eyebrows, a little bit on my chin, kind of going along the sides of my face, just accentuate that crimson chin there. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that in with a damp beauty blender. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the 24-Hour Color Tattoo in Barely Branded from Maybelline. I just like how it's really close to my skin tone, but it has a little bit of a sheen to it. So I'll use it to prime my eyelids. Then I set everything down everywhere. I use concealer and my eyelids with the Milani Prep Set and Glow. And I just press that in a really light amount with my beauty blender. Then I'm going to go ahead and use the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Pearl. Now you might want to do this before you powder, but I only used a really light amount of powder and I didn't really use it in this area, so I just go ahead and kind of press that into my skin with a beauty blender. Again, same beauty blender the whole time. It's actually the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. Then I'm going to go ahead and use this powder highlight from Wet n Wild called Blossom Glow, just to kind of, I guess, set down everywhere I put the pearl and just enhance that highlight. And you can see how happy I am about that. This is one of my favorite things to do. I pretty much do this on an everyday basis when I'm doing my makeup, is put down a cream highlighter and then put a powder over it. I also take a separate brush just so it's a little bit more concentrated and put that on the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and my Cupid's bow. Then I'm going to go ahead and use this Milani more bronzy highlight and use it on kind of the areas that I would bronze, mostly on the forehead, and I do drag it down a little bit on the side of my face. This is just something that I like to do to keep that glow there. I like to use it under the bronzer just so if I get a little bit too intense, which I normally do, when I put the bronzer on top of it, it kind of tones it down and gives me just the right amount of glow. Then I'm going to use this True Match powder. It's not really a bronzer, it's just a dark face powder, but it's a nice satin finish. And I'm going to put it right over the places where I normally bronze and just really build that up with a big fluffy brush. I'm not doing anything really intense, no intense contour, just something that I can kind of slap on and it's going to look good. Then I'm going to use this e.l.f. blush in Tickled Pink with that same brush, big fluffy brush that I used for bronzer, and just kind of blend that in. It's one of those colors that just blends really nicely into bronzer and makes you look a little bit more alive. Then I'm going to use the Make It Dewy spray by Milani, and I cover my eyes just because I don't want it to get everywhere on my face. I really just want it to be on the places that I highlighted. So on the sides of my face there, give me a lot of that glow, and then I use the Make It Last on my entire face to set everything down. It's a little extra, but I definitely see a difference in how my makeup looks throughout the day. Then I'm going to use the Carly Bible palette. I love this really light shade. I use it all over my lid to set it down really and just to really brighten it up. This is a shade that I use every single day, no matter what kind of look I'm going for, because it's a matte highlight on my skin tone. So it just really brightens up, but it's not too shimmery, so it doesn't look crazy. Then I'm going to go in with this medium brown color and kind of build it up. It doesn't do a whole lot at first, so I just try to build it up and build as I go. You can also just use a bronzer for this if you really wanted. With that same fluffy brush, I'm going to mix that color and a little bit darker of a brown just to build up that crease a little bit more, get a little bit more definition in there. Then I'm going to take those two colors with a smaller, kind of a fluffy pencil brush and take that all the way from inner corner to outer corner and connect it to the top eye look. Some people might think that this will look a little bit crazy with minimal makeup, but it's really going to make you look more awake. Then I'm going to take a nude pencil, any nude pencil. This is from Wet n Wild. It's like $1. It works just fine, so whatever works for you. Then I'm going to take some of the face highlight in this Carly Bible palette and toss it into the inner corner and a little bit on the brow bone. You can take the same highlighter that you used on the face, but I just had this palette in my hand, so I used that. You could just use this palette for the face highlights as well, but I have so many highlights, I decided to use some other things. Then I'm going to take the roller lash from Benefit, oldie but a goodie, put that on the upper and lower lashes as I'm jamming out. Then I'm going to use this NYX lip liner. It's like a pretty kind of nude pink color and line my lips, and then I'm going to throw on a lipstick as well. This is in the shade 500 Nude from Burt's Bees. I love these lipsticks because they're so hydrating. They're a fairly sheer coverage, lipstick color, but they're so pretty and they feel so amazing on the lips. Then I'm going to use this NYX Butter Gloss. Of course, oldie but goodie, and these lip glosses smell like cookie dough, so if you have a significant other that hates when you get lip gloss on them, they might actually like this one.